You are listening to the Entrepreneur Diary Podcast, where entrepreneurs discuss the pros and cons of starting and running a business, investing, real estate, and all matters involving wealth and prosperity. Please support by subscribing and dropping a review wherever you are listening to or watching us.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Entrepreneur Diary Podcast. Yes, we are back, and I thank you all who show up to listen, to watch. If you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us through your favorite podcast app, I thank you, first of all, and I ask if you haven't done it till now, I ask you that you please subscribe. It's totally free for you. It helps us. It helps the algorithm. It helps YouTube as well as podcast apps to push this kind of content. And the idea for us is to give you value. So I just want to jump quickly into today's topic. And after reading the Think and Grow Rich book by Napoleon Hill, one of the topics that really caught my attention was the 30 major causes of failure that he describes in the book. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. I mean, it is a great book. It's a book that does help you change your mindset, change how you look at things. It makes you want to do better in life. It makes you just want to do better with your business. And I highly recommend it. It is an old book, but it is a book it just has great value. So I was looking for a way to summarize this for you guys. I think that along this podcast, there will be a few episodes where we'll talk about this book because it's such an important book when you decide to become an entrepreneur or, whatever it is that you want to do in life and you want to do better, you want to start your own business. It's just a great book for a change of mindset, right? It talks about all these great minds that we've seen along history and the things they have in common, the things these rich, successful entrepreneurs have in common, and they're put all into this book. So anyway, I was searching online and I found this article written by Justin Bryant. It says he is the founder and CEO of Self-Made Success. And he took the time to, summarize it in a list, and I'll just discuss or give my opinions on it as we move along. Okay, so here are the 30 major causes of failure according to Think and Grow Rich. Number one is unfavorable hereditary background. It says here that if you have some kind of deficiency of brain power because of disability or some sort, there is not much you can do about it. This is the only one of the 30 causes of failure that cannot be easily corrected. I repeat, this is the only one out of these 30 causes of failure. This is the only one that can't be easily corrected. It's not something that might be within your power as an individual because it's something you're born with. It's something hereditary. So, there might not be much you can do personally to, just to avoid it, or not even avoid it, just to change it in general. Number two is the lack of well-defined purpose in life. It says that if you don't have some kind of goal that you are aiming for, how are you supposed to achieve anything or therefore be successful? Have a clear, defined goal that you want to achieve and know why you are working to reach it. One of the analogies I use for my son constantly is I tell him, we have to have goals and we have to know where we want to be in life. We might not be there right now, but there has to be a journey. There has to be a way mapped out to where you want to be in life. And I always tell them, like, if you turn on a sailboat, and I've heard this before, this is not mine, so I'm not taking the credit, but I've heard this analogy that really stuck with me is that if you turn on a boat, turn on motors, and you just leave it to be, right? You pick up the anchor and just leave it in the ocean. Do you think that boat will get to a defined place? It'll probably just end up circling or just drifting with the waves, not going anywhere specific. And that's how it is in life. When you do not have a well-defined purpose in life, you don't know where you're going. So you're like that boat just drifting. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you want to be. And therefore, you end up failing most of the time and you end up losing so much time. Number 3 is the lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. People who don't want to get ahead in life can never be successful. And that's the truth. I tell everyone, until you're wanting to change is greater than you're wanting to stay the same, you will see absolutely no change in life. So this is when you just don't want to even try to improve your life, or rather just stay at the mediocre level. I doubt most people actually intend to stay mediocre their entire lives. But the truth is, some do. And I say this to everyone I speak to, everyone I've had sessions with, or in my YouTube videos. I always say the same thing, like, you don't know what you don't know, therefore you can't really make any changes. Number 4, insufficient education. A lack of the right education can be overcome with ease. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill explains that it is not so much the highly educated people in school that are the most successful, but the ones who self-educate themselves. All of us who have been in school, who have gone to college or high school or whatever level of education you have, most times it's the things you probably learned in the beginning, like math skills and reading skills and things of that nature that you carry on through life. But those of us who have gone to college, most times we don't really use everything we learn. We've all been in the situation where we look at, why am I taking this class? Why do I need this in life? Most of us, even through high school or middle school, why do I need algebra? How am I going to use this, right? But those of us who self-educate usually thrive. Why? Because we're being educated in things that we want to, because we want to, because we feel that we need to. See, school cannot teach you experience. It's just all about knowledge. But knowledge that is applied, it's the one that's important. It's not enough to just know things. You have to put them in practice. So usually when you self-educate, you're doing it while taking action. And therefore, that's why we see success in most cases. Number 5 is the lack of discipline. If you step in front of the mirror and feel like you see your greatest enemy, this may be one of the biggest causes of failure. You must learn self-control to avoid letting any negative qualities overtake you. You must develop your mind and become your own best friend to conquer yourself this way. So when we have that lack of self-discipline, we usually don't like, when we lack discipline, we usually don't like what we see, or we don't like the results that we've had thus far, which is why it's important for us to take discipline and change our habits. Take it, starting with a discipline, and then it turns into, you put that into action and it becomes a habit. It becomes a part of you, becomes of what your life is. Right? It's like they say, you are what you constantly do, or you are what you constantly think of. The way you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So again, we must learn to be our own best friend, conquer ourselves, push ourselves to do better, and have the discipline to do so. And not only that, to keep doing so. This is why crash diets don't work, because they're not natural to you. They're not a part of you. They're not part of who you are. Therefore, you're forcing yourself to do something temporary or extreme. But when you develop habits, you see the difference. Number 6, ill health. If you aren't healthy, you probably don't ever feel like getting much work done. This is another aspect of self-control that many people struggle with. The 5 main causes of ill health outlined in the book are overeating of foods that don't promote good health, wrong expression of thought, giving expression to negatives, wrong use of and overindulgence in sex, lack of consistent physical exercise, and improper breathing, causing an inadequate supply of fresh air. Number 7, unfavorable environmental influence during childhood. One thing you cannot do is live in the past. I always tell people, if you live your life looking at the rear view mirror, you won't see what's in front of you. Tony Robbins says exactly that. Tony Robbins says it in the way of, if you drive with a rear view mirror, you're going to crash, right? I always say, well, you just can't see what's in front of you. You can't see ahead. You can't look ahead. Most people that become criminals had pretty bad childhood or just grew up in a bad environment. Many have been through this and overcome it though. So others must learn to do the same to be successful by surrounding themselves with the right supportive people. Number 8 is procrastination. This is definitely one of the biggest causes of failure. It's actually one of the ones the writer says that he struggled with the most when he was starting out as an entrepreneur. It seems in today's society, people are becoming more and more lazy as technology progresses. I mean, I can also say this is one of the ones I struggled with. And sometimes, to be honest, I still do with procrastination. Sometimes I want to do so many things and have so many ideas, but I don't build up the will to do them. And I'm working on that. I am a work in progress. You know, one of them being the content creation. I have a Spanish channel. I do Spanish content, and I've been meaning to do English content more often so that I can reach more people and help as many people as possible. So, says that with the laziness the technology progresses, this does not promote success. Hard work and consistency are what will get you to where you want to go. Yes, I second that. Number 9, lack of persistence. It's a lot easier to start something than it is to finish it, especially in entrepreneurship. People tend to be excited about getting started, but then quit at the first sign of defeat. The most successful people in the world had to go through many failures before their first success. Failure cannot cope with persistence. As long as you keep consistently working towards something, you will get past every bump in the road you hit and eventually reach success. This is another one I am applying to myself, to just stay consistent. Doesn't matter how many viewers I have, how many subscribers I have, how large of an audience. I always say, and I tell my Spanish audience, that as long as I reach at least one person takes value from the content that I upload, that the content that I release, the YouTube videos, the podcasts, I'm happy with that. I've done something for someone else. Number 10 is negative personality. You must attract people to you with your personality, not repel them. When people are attracted to you, they want to do business with you and just be around you. Become a more positive person and you will develop better relationships with people that can help you. Yes, I have found that to be true. That is one of the changes I did over, I would say, about 2 years ago. I've been putting it into practice, especially since a year ago. I've made it part of who I am, and I have seen the fruits of my labor. Number 11 is the lack of controlled sexual urge. Sex is the most powerful stimuli that moves people to action. It has to be controlled, and the emotional energy must be converted into other channels. That is true. Sex motivates many people. And if you take that constant urge, I'm not saying that the urge is bad, but when it becomes a problem, when you can't control it, yeah, it is a problem. And you should put that urge or that energy into other productive things in your life so that you can see, right? Especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're pushing your entrepreneurship forward. Yeah, we do have to work more hours. We do need all the energy we can get, right? And all the time we can get. Number 12, uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. To reach success or achieve any goal, you must provide something in exchange. To always want something for nothing is to have a gambler's mentality that will never reward you in life consistently. You must give value to get value in return. An example of how the gambling instinctive causes failure is the stock market crash of 1929. So, yeah, uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. We will always have to give something in exchange for something else. If you have goals, if you have dreams, you have to be willing to put in the work and able to achieve those goals. You can't just sit at home and pray for a miracle and do absolutely nothing about it, because in the long run, it will not work. Number 13 is the lack of well-defined power of decision. The reason business owners can make the toughest decisions under pressure is because they make quick decisions and change their minds slowly. Failures make slow decisions, if any. Failures make slow decisions, if any at all, and change their mind too easily. There are people that have trouble making decisions. Therefore, they never take that step forward needed to conquer in life, to conquer or achieve their goals. They think about it too much and therefore never take that step forward. I mean, it's one step at a time. And the most important is, like they say, what is it? There's never a better time than right now. And it all starts with your first step. So make decisions quick and then change your mind slowly. Work at it. If there's something you want to do, a business you want to start, make the decision. Go ahead, take action. And then you change your mind slowly, meaning you start adjusting. Number 14, one or more of the 6 basic fears. You must overcome any fears that may hold you back from taking action to achieve a goal. Here are the 6 fears: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love of someone, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. We all have fears. I think we've all at one point or another have thought or feared at least some or all of these 6 fears. But the important thing is that if you have a goal that you want to achieve, you start overcoming them. You start focusing on the positive. You start focusing on your goal, on what is it that you want, on the road you must take to get there. Number 15 is the wrong selection of a mate in marriage. It's a sad statistic, but more people in the US are now divorced than married. Many people just do not have a harmonious marriage, and that can definitely affect your business or work performance. This is what I've seen. One of the things I'm thankful for, I'm so thankful for my wife. I'm so thankful that she is one that she walks with me. She takes the difficult roads with me. She supports the ideas that I come up with, and she just supports me 100% and pushes me forward. And when she sees that I start slacking or falling behind, she gives me a reminder. And that is not something that everyone can say. Sometimes we do have spouses or girlfriends or people we live with that are simply not supportive. And that may take a toll on your goals, on your business. Maybe your spouse doesn't support you and they start arguing with you, telling you, why are you dedicating so much time to this? You need to stop, give more attention to me, or you need to work less and make more money, and things like that of that nature that can take a toll on your mindset, and therefore can push you to just give up. Number 16 is overcaution. Although you don't want to be hasty, You don't want to be overly cautious either. You have to take some chances to achieve big things, but don't go for the Hail Mary every time. Make logical decisions, and you'll have a good balance of caution and risk. This goes along with the one we were talking about earlier about the fears or the lack of well-defined power of making decisions. This goes hand in hand with that because some people are overly cautious. Yes, it is good to make informed decisions. It is good to do your research, to do your due diligence before taking a step. But sometimes you have to, take the leap. You have to take a leap of faith. But it's not a good idea to always just take leaps without any due diligence or any education. But because of over caution, some people just don't take the step at all. The number 17 is the wrong selection of associates in business. If you're going to work with others in your business, you want them to be people to uplift you. If you are choosing an employer, try to choose one that is an inspiration and will set a good example for you. Now, yeah, for you to learn from. So the wrong selection of associates in business, this is if you're choosing, right, if you work somewhere and you're choosing a role model, right, or someone you're associating business-wise, it's good to follow people and be around people that motivate you to do better. This also applies to partnerships. Just because, let's say you grew up with, you have a best friend, you grew up with them, and I don't know, they might talk business with you even though they're not involved or whatever it is. That doesn't mean they'll make great partners. It doesn't mean that they'll make good business associates. You want to find people that are like-minded. Jim Rohn always said, right, that we are the median of the 5 people that most surround us. So therefore, it is good to associate yourself with like-minded people, with people that make you want to be better. And this is not only for business, but in life itself. It's good to associate yourself with people that inspire you to simply just do better. Number 18 is superstition and prejudice. Superstition is a form of ignorance, and so is being prejudiced. Superstition is also a form of fear. People who are successful keep open minds and are afraid of nothing. So that is self-explanatory. But if there are beliefs that you have that are not giving you value, that are not pushing you to move forward, to take risk, that are not pushing you to be better, then it's time to unlearn them and learn, just a different mindset. Number 19 is the wrong selections of a vocation, of a vocation. It is pretty hard to want to strive to achieve great things in a field that you aren't very passionate about. It's amazing to me how many people settle for less and take a job they don't even like because they think they have no choice. This is a boat that I have been in before, where I simply took a job because it was the only job I felt available for me at the time. And times were very rough for me, so I had to do what I had to do. But as you learn more in life, as you develop yourself, as you develop your mindset, as you just evolve, you understand the importance for yourself, for your mental health. You understand the importance of doing things you love. Like they say, do the things you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That has been true. So yeah, it's just for your mental health. And even if you're working and you're starting a side gig and your goal is to someday retire and just work for yourself, and quit your 9 to 5, then it's important for you to have peace of mind. And it's important to try to do things that you can enjoy doing. I'm not saying everything is easy and everything has to be enjoyment, but find things you don't hate. Basically, that's how I look at it. I had a job that I hated, that I felt sick when Sunday nights came and I knew I had to go back to work on Monday. And it is not a great feeling. It wasn't good for my health. It wasn't good for my mental health. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Okay. Number 20, the lack of concentration of effort. You don't want to try to master too many things all at once. Become a specialist before you branch out into other things, because a jack of all trades isn't very good at anything. It's like they say, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, that's what happens when we try to do so many things at once. I have found myself in that position where I had to understand, do the things you are great at, the things you love. And it has worked for me. But back then I wanted to do music production. I wanted to do writing. I wanted to do composing. I wanted to do recording and editing. And I wanted to do vlogging. And I wanted to do short films. And I wanted to do everything. And then I wanted to do podcasts on the side. But one thing that I found is that I love talking to people. I love giving people value. I love being able to help people. So I decided to focus my energy on creating my YouTube videos, which I can also create into podcasts where I can do what I love, which is talking and helping people, and also content creation at the same time. 21 is the habit of indiscriminate spending, especially in business. You need to have a budget. You need to be able to manage money in all aspects of life. Indiscriminate spending will create a fear of poverty because you won't ever have much money left over in the bank. Without much money in the bank, you won't have much courage to push for better business deals. You just take whatever you are given when you have a fear of going broke. That's what happened to me when I took that job that I hated. I was broke, but I was fear of being homeless. So I had to do what I had to do. But as I got older, as I understood things better, as I took control of my finances, I understood the importance of having that emergency fund, of having funds put away, of having the freedom of, because I have those funds, if a business opportunity comes up, or if a real estate property comes up that might work for me, that is a great deal, I can push forward and take down that deal because I feel confident I can do so, and because I have the funds to back me up. But when you don't do that, when you just spend, I wear the most expensive sneakers, I have the nicest car, but your bank account is at zero and your bills are piled up, that is a huge problem. And to be honest, it's a problem way more normal than it should, and way more normal than you might think. So please take care of your expenses, take care of your finances, be very diligent with them, and you will see how things start to get better. 22 is the lack of enthusiasm. Have you ever tried to do business deal or sell something when you didn't have any enthusiasm about what you were selling? If so, no, it never goes very well. People don't like downers. Get around people that are enthusiastic about what they're doing, and it'll rub off on you. Again, as Jim Rohn said, we are the median of the 5 people that most surround us. Number 23 is intolerance. You definitely don't want to be closed-minded when trying to achieve success. You need to be open to new strategies and knowledge that comes from those who have already reached the level you want to be. At work, I say I have a great relationship at work. I work with over 60 people at my W-2, and I try to keep it professional. I try to communicate as best as I can with all of my coworkers. I try to have a great relationship with them, even if we're not friends out of work. But I try to be tolerant and understand that we don't all come from the same background, that we're all going through things. And that has helped me in my business endeavors, because listen, not everything is going to be fairy tales and rainbows and roses. Sometimes you will deal with people that are difficult, but business-wise, they are a great relationship to have. So you must be tolerant. You must be patient. And, you must think before you speak and before you act. And That leads us to 24, which is intemperance, where Napoleon Hill states that if you overindulge in things like food, sex, or drinking, it could be fatal to your success. Control yourself and don't give in to the little temptations that could throw you off track. And number 25 is the inability to cooperate with others. That goes, right? It goes hand in hand with intolerance, with the intemperance of not giving in to those little temptations. Sometimes you might be tempted to say things, and it's best not to do it, even though the example they use here is with food and sex or drinking, which, of course, an abuse of anything is not good to us, because food is great, right? We need it to live. But if you overindulge, it's harmful to you, just like sex. Everyone, enjoys a drink here and there, right? Not everyone, but most people do. But if you abuse, it is not good for you. And just like at speaking or communicating, right? Sometimes you might have a temptation to say things, and it's best not to say. It just throws you off track. So number 25, being the inability to cooperate with others, it states here that if you ever watch the TV show Shark Tank, you know that the business investors, they never want to make deals with people that seem that they don't work well with others. You're not going to always be right. That's the truth. You're not going to always get your way. Learn to accept that and be tolerant of other people, and you're already way ahead of countless others in the journeys of success. These all tie together. Number 26 is the possession of power that was not acquired through self-effort. Have you ever noticed that the majority of people that get large inheritances at an early age, or people that win the lottery, tend to just blow all the money only to be broke again? Successful people stay successful because they earn their success, and so should everyone else. People that don't understand the value of hard work, the value of money, they don't appreciate it. So they blow their money. It's like, kids that have been given everything, that you have given everything to them, kids that have had everything handed to them their entire life, grow to be entitled adults. So they don't understand what sacrifices were made to have everything they had. So this is why successful people, they stay successful because they earn their success. They understand. It's like a hard worker. When you work for your wages, you must be, a smart person. You have to be intelligent with your finances because you work hard for that. You understand that. You understand the sacrifice that you made to earn that. And sometimes our kids might not, but it's good for us to, teach them, no? Okay. So number 27 is intentional dishonesty. When trying to move up in life, your word and your reputation can be your biggest assets or your biggest faults. Being dishonest with people on purpose is a good way to get in people's quote unquote doghouse and end up losing everything. Growing up, I always heard your word is your bond, and that's one of the most important things we must protect. If you say you're going to do something, you should do it. The Bible says that our yeses should be yeses and our no's should be no's. You need to keep your word. It's part of integrity. It's part of you need to make it part of your work ethic. Follow through with what you say. Don't make promises you can't keep, which is why many people don't believe in politicians. Number 28, egotism and vanity. These two things are just fatal to success. When people see these traits in you, they are red flags that are hard to look past. I can say that one thing I try to maintain is my humbleness, because to me, once I see that red flag in a person, it could be in a personal relationship or a business relationship. When I see the ego is way bigger than the value you bring, that's my exit right there. So we need to be very careful that we're not vain people, that our ego, it's one thing to have confidence, but it's another thing to be egotistic, and it just scares people away. Number 29, guessing instead of thinking. Have you ever known one of those people that automatically make arguments and form opinions on the spot without even taking the time to learn the facts, that won't win you much respect in life either. Be logical and know the facts before making decisions or forming opinions. Laziness and not doing your homework will lead to a lot of bad judgments. Yeah, it's one of the things I most despise is people that they form arguments without knowing what they're talking about. And they want to argue with people that actually do know, but they want to make their point that they're right, you're wrong. And trust me, that will not build any good relationships for you. Another thing about guessing instead of thinking is when you make decisions and you form opinions or make business decisions, if it's in a business aspect, when you make decisions by just, well, I guess this is going to work. When you make, just assumptions, when you make business deals, when you make real estate deals, because you think or you guess it might appreciate better or give you a better return instead of doing your due diligence, you are headed for failure. The number 30 is the lack of capital. Especially when it comes to starting a business for the first time, it helps to have some capital in the bank to absorb the mistakes you're likely to make and keep you from getting into debt, killing your credit, or anything like that. Those types of problems are hard to recover from in today's world. That is very true. And as we spoke earlier, it's important to manage our finances correctly, to manage our finances wisely, to put away, to have those emergency funds, to have our backup funds, to have our investment funds ready to go, but using them wisely. Because when you miscalculate, sometimes, listen, a mathematical error in business can cost you your business, and sometimes even more than that. So it is important to be wise so that you will never lack capital when it comes to business, when it comes to life, when it comes to your expenses. Always try. Always be ready. Always be prepared. It's better to have things and not need them than to need them and not have them. So the writer here concludes that says, this is his opinion. No, you know what? No. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you gain value from this. Again, this is an article from Self-Made Success, the writer Justin Bryant. He wrote about the 30 major causes of failure according to the book Think and Grow Rich. So if you have gained value or if you identify with any of these or you want to add some to it, please feel free to comment below. If you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. Like the video. If you are hearing us through podcasts, please subscribe. Please follow the podcast. Leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review there. That'll be great. I appreciate it. I thank you all for being here. If you are listening till now, thank you. And I guess I'll check you on the next one.